We used to telecast the whole 3 days, and it was a marathon effort on its own, Rob, to be in Warrnambool over the carnival for 3 days. How have you gone?
Well, I was talking with Brian Blackmore, who's joining us a little bit later on, having a look through the form, and it's a matter, I think, of just pacing your day, or pacing yourself through day 1 through to day 3. But it's a magnificent carnival down here in Warrnambool, and the seaside city has really turned on a magnificent 3 days of racing. We've had 9 races every day, 9 races again today.
Well, for the benefit of our audience back in Melbourne, there is drizzle here at the moment. There have been light showers right throughout the morning, but the track is officially declared dead. Now, in the main, the horses that have been leading have been winning over the last 2 days, haven't they?
I think anything that can race up on the pace or in that first half dozen has an excellent chance. I don't think we've seen too many, actually, that have come from the rear.
Now, just before we bring Brian in, I'd just like to mention equal favourites at the moment, looking out on the betting ring, Rob, Hollinger and Laylos. I heard Brian mention in your telecast earlier, both showing 9-2, 5-1, best you can get.
Big raps for Laylos, of course, trained at Ballarat by Warrnambool. Brian, perhaps if you'd like to join us now, let's have a look at the top weight. Number 1, Astralin. It's got Wayne Treloar on board, of course, trained by Colin Alderson at Cranbourne, knows what it takes to win a Warrnambool Cup.
My very word, he's won over $378,000 in stake money. He's a big problem. It's his first start back since he ran in the Sydney Cup when he finished 10th there. And he's coming back from the 3,200 to 2,200. Colin Alderson, a very astute trainer, will certainly have him fit. And there are a lot of smart people around to say that Astralin is the one to beat in the race.
Number 2, Hollinger, of course, ridden by W. Sharp, and has a lady by the name of Mrs. Marshman training it, and a very, very astute and capable young lady.
Barbara Marshman, yes. Hollinger just beaten in the Hamilton Cup only a couple of weeks ago when it looked the winner at the 200-metre point, but had 57 on its back, and that certainly told against it in the last little bit. It then went to Victoria Park and ran second to Final Triumph. It drops to 54.5 here. It's going to look the winner at some stage in the straight. Just whether it can run out the 2,200 is the only problem, I'd say, with Hollinger.
Yes, I have a query on Hollinger, whether he can run the 2,200 metres. Of course, I thought he was a little bit unlucky at Hamilton, but since then has ran second to 14 at Victoria Park, as you mentioned. Number 3, Game Trooper, all the way from New Zealand, has the Boom Apprentice of D. Gouchy on board.
Certainly got that in its favour, trained by Gary Hanlon. He'll have the horse nice and fit, and it's a horse that's going to sit on the pace, which is essential when we look at the pattern of racing here at Warrnambool over the past couple of days. You've got to be up there, and Game Trooper will be sitting right on the pace, which I think is going to be on from the start, and is a real chance.
Well, number 4 in Top Banner was entered, of course, on Tuesday, the first day of the carnival. Was scratched for this particular race, but a horse for mine that likes to have his own way in front. If he doesn't get it, doesn't seem to find a great deal.
Don't think he's going to have that today, because horses like Educate are going to go with him, and I believe Manship's is in the race specifically to set the pace for its stablemate Astralin. So I'm excluding Top Banner, and he lately hasn't been able to go to the post anyway. I just don't fancy him over the 2,200.
Number 5, Educate, as you said before, a late ride for Rodney Dawkins, trained at Caulfield by Kevin Curtin.
And how often do you see the jockey that picks up the late ride salute the judge? Educate, I did think would have a little bit of trouble here, because he is a leader and he's going to have horses cutting at him in front, and I'd say he's going to be a sitting duck for something coming just behind them.
Well, the horse that's taken a long while to break through finally broke through at Sandown its last start in Beatrice Levette. It was over a little longer journey than what the 2,200 metres is today, but must be given a chance.
Yes, she's getting ready to go to Adelaide for the Adelaide Cup, Rob, and although she has won 5 out of 25 starts, everyone seems to think that she's a birthday horse, but she did break through, as you say, at Sandown, and once they do happen to crack it, they sometimes go on. She's nice and short on the tote, and I wouldn't be leaving her out, particularly with Len Morn on board.
Well, she's well weighted with 51 kgs. Number 7, Manship in blinkers, to be ridden by Gary Doughty.
Stephen Burridge.
Stephen Burridge, a late change of rider, to be ridden by trained, I should say, by Colin Alderson from Cranbourne.
I don't give it much of a chance, as I say. I believe it's been put in the race to set the pace for Astralin, and that's exactly what its job will be.
Number 8, Arctic Vision, and it's one from over the border. We saw it win at Hamilton in the Hamilton Gold Cup up there over 2,200 metres. Do you think he can repeat the performance?
Don't know. He's a Dow stayer. That race was there to suit him. This field is a lot stronger. He'll be running home at the end of the race, but I think he's going to get too far back, Rob.
Number 9, Game Treese, will certainly run the 2,400 metres out. Haven't seen him for some time. Perhaps his best performance was 7th at 12 at Moonee Valley over 2,600 metres. Didn't have a lot of luck, trained on the track.
Yes, that's the only thing in his favour. I think trained on the track. I don't really give him a chance in this class.
Number 10, Gavel. You saw the horse actually run at Camperdown Cup Day. Had a few starts since then.
Yes, it broke away. It's another one that likes to be up in the lead. It broke clear before the turn, and it was a catch me if you can tactics set by Neville Wilson, and they couldn't get him. But his last couple of runs have been all right. I do think he'll struggle at the 2,200, but it wouldn't surprise to see him run run into a place.
Take out number 11, McBurn, number 12, Mint Master, and of course trained by the gentleman that certainly knows how to train stayers, and George Hanlon.
Yeah, started at 41 3 starts ago when it ran second at Moonee Valley to Pochinella, but its last 2 runs have been very ordinary, but there is money around today to suggest that it could improve.
Wraps around the track also. The number 13, Salsify, also from New Zealand, has a chance. Of course, has the able assistance of Gary Murphy in fine form.
Yes, I was guilty of having something on it on Tuesday when it ran an inglorious race, so I can't get enthused about Salsify.
Number 14, Joe Naree, to be ridden by the local apprentice or the local jockey now, and Alan Pedersen.
Very consistent horse with a third at Bendigo behind Mandator and second at Ballarat to Just from Beechwood. Certainly much weaker class than this, and I don't really think it can win.
And let's take a look at number 15, Lalos. Now, the raps about this horse are quite big.
They're huge, aren't they? He did win an ordinary race, an intermediate at Cranbourne at his last start. He was backed, I think, from 4-1 into around about 9-4 favourite, and he certainly didn't let his supporters down. Craig Dinn riding, of course, is trained by Ron Maund at Ballarat. Lenny couldn't make the weight of 50 kilos, so Craig Dinn's got the ride, and this could be an omen. I do really think it's going to be hard to beat.
Well, we can see on our screen there in front of us number 16, Yarra Gambler, well down in the weights, so it's 50 kgs.
Fourth at Benanga.
Don't know a great deal about him, and I don't give him actually much of a chance.
No, I don't think if he wins, the bookmakers will really clean up. They've done pretty well so far for the Carnival. This will be the coup de grace.
Well, wrapping it up, what do you actually like as perhaps your first pick in the Cup?
I like Hollinger. I'm on an each-way basis. I think he's going to look the winner at the 200-metre point, and the definite danger in the race, Lalos.
I'll go where the educated money is. I'm going for Lalos. I think Hollinger could be a good each-way chance, as I agree with you. We'll be back shortly with the 2200 metres 1986 Dulux Warrnambool Cup shortly. Warrnambool Cup Day for 1986, and a very good afternoon to viewers through the ATV network, and a very good afternoon, Phil Gibbs.
Thanks very much, Rob. Well, they're moving into the barrier here. The 2 favourites, Laylos and Hollinger, both about 5-1 with the books. There we have the totes, and they'll be showing up on the totes as pretty well near equal favourites. Laylos and Hollinger. I'm selecting Top Banner. What do you select here?
Well, I'm going to stick with the educated money on course. Number 15, Laylos, and we have a look there, $3.65 and $1.15. Hollinger number 2. Let's cross up to Bruce McAvaney for his call of the 1986 Warrnambool Cup.
And track dead.
Thanks, Rob and Phil. Light on for the Cup. Great start here in front of the judge, and away they go. Away well, Yarra Gambler. Joe Naree missed it a bit. Astralin's dropping out, and also slowly away Game Trees and Beatrice Levette. And Hard Ridden Educate looks like we're leading from Top Banner. Gavel, Yarra Gambler the inside. A length away, Mintmaster up nice and handy. Trapped out deep on the track then is Game Trooper. Inside of it, Manship from Arctic Vision, Salsify. They're getting into the track a bit. A length further back, Hollinger. Joe Naree the inside. Lallis back 4th last. 3 lengths away, Beatrice Levette. A length away then to Game Trees, and a half length away, Astralin. Into the back straight, 1700 to go in the Cup. Pace steady. Educate led a length and a half to Top Banner, a half to Yarra Gambler, 2 lengths away, Gavel. Mintmaster the fence and a half to Game Trooper the outside. Then Arctic Vision. Manship's never been on the track 3 deep. On the fence next, Salsify, length to Hollinger. 1 away, Joe Naree, and a half to Lalos. 4 lengths away, Beatrice Levette, a half length the outside, Game Trees, and the top weight, Astralin last of all. Down the back of the track, and it's in front about a length and a half, I suppose, Educate from Top Banner at the 1200. Yarra Gambler the inside, a half to Gavel. Mintmaster's had a good run, so's Game Trooper the outside. Manship 3 deep. Lalos is cutting loose 4 wide around them. In the centre then Arctic Vision on the inside. Salsify length to Joe Naree. Improving between horses is Hollinger, and about a length further back on the field, Beatrice Levette as they start to close a bit. 1 to Astral in the length to Game Trees. They pack up at the 800 and Educate a half to Top Banner, a length away, Gavel. Mintmaster going well between horses. Yarra Gambler on the inside. Salsify hard ridden with Game Trooper outside of it, and then Lalos. Further back on the field then to Joe Naree. Hollinger's trying to thread his way through, and Beatrice Levette starting to wind up. Astralin coming with a run from last. Game Treats in front of it, and then Arctic Vision and Manship. They're getting towards the turn at the 500. Educate just led Top Banner. Mintmaster straight up 3 deep, 2 lengths away behind them. Then is Hollinger. Next the inside, Salsify, Beatrice Levette and Astralin out deep into the straight. Mintmaster led about a half length Top Banner. Hollinger coming with a run from Beatrice Levette and Joe Naree. Mintmaster's kicked right away at the 200. He's got it one. He raced out 3 or 4 in front of Hollinger, Beatrice Levette and Joe Naree. And Mintmaster's going to walk in a big trial for the Adelaide Cup. He's going to win by 5 lengths. Hollinger may be second, yes, just in front of Joe Naree. Then Beatrice Levette, Salsify. Further back, Game Trees, Astralin. Behind those horses would have been Educate, Top Banner, Yarra Gambler, Arctic Vision, Lalos. One of the last to finish, Manship back with a Game Trooper and Gavel. Most impressive performance there by Midmaster, was always travelling well. And Alderman had him in the right place at the right time. He took him off the fence at about the 800. And he strode up 3 deep on the turn, and he looked to have them covered. And he dashed away to win well. Number 12, Midmaster P. Alderman first. You can see Midmaster the grey in full flight inside the 200. Hollinger's hard at it under the whip. Alderman hands and heels. And Midmaster has careered right away. He's handled the going particularly well. I guess the going's like it was on Geelong Cup Day last October, where he ran a great race behind Coro, Corrie, May and Tripsicum. And today he has walked in to join some of the other famous names to have won this race, the Warrnambool Cup. Of course, Nicholas John last year went on to run second in the Adelaide Cup. Warry Symbol in 79 went on to be favourite for the Caulfield Cup. Scotch and Dry in 74, and Puramacker, of course, won 2 in a row in 77 and 78. And Napur in 69, successful, went on to win an Adelaide Cup, and Dark Satin in 68 went on to win a Sydney Cup. But Midmaster has trotted in. It's a photo for second and third. I guess Hollinger's hung on, though. Jonah Ree's made it close on the line. But Hollinger should get it. Most consistent horse. He was second at Hamilton in the Cup behind Arctic Vision, and then went to Adelaide and was second behind Final Triumph in the Birthday Cup. And Jonah Ree, who there was a big question mark about at the distance, the mare, but she is by Diamond Joe, and Diamond Joe horses tend to stay, and she's run home very strongly. Astralin got a long way back. He made a run towards the turn. He made up a lot of ground. Beatrice Levette, you can see there with Midmaster. She made a bit of a dash at them on the turn, but class told in the end, and Midmaster has careered away to win. You can see him once again at the end of the 2200. He's by Sir Tristram from Silver Fern. He's raced by P.S. James, P.G. Clemenger, M.S. Handsome and P.R. Mitchell, trained by George Hanlon, previously prepared by Bart Cummings, this horse, and ridden by Philip Alderman. Now second 2, Hollinger Bill Sharp, and third 14, Jonah Ree, A. Peterson. It's 12, 2 and 14 as Astralin the top weight, Wayne Trelaw. Midmaster ran a great race in the Metropolitan last season, or earlier this season, last year. Then ran well in the Geelong Cup. Bart thought he was going to be his hope for the Melbourne Cup, but it didn't quite work out that way. Went to George Hanlon's stable, and he's won this race. Now 5 lengths by half head. 5 lengths by half head. 2:18, just over 2:18 the time. We'll get that exactly shortly. The record is 2:16.2, held by Puramacker. So this horse will be off to Adelaide now for the Cup, and he's going to take some stopping. It was a most impressive performance by Sir Tristram. He has the quality to win the big races, and I think he has the ability to win the Adelaide Cup or run a particularly good race. You can see Hollinger just hanging on in front of Jonah Ree. Officially fourth was Beatrice Levette in the Hoare Lacey stable. She's going well, and fifth has gone to 13, Salsify, who went much better today than he did on Tuesday. Now we'll get some totes shortly, I believe. Midmaster winning. There's Alderman with the whip in the right hand, acknowledging the photographers. And we'll be back, of course, with an interview with the winning jockey and trainer. Now 8.40 and 3.40 for a win. That's for $1. So if you divide that by 2, that'll be $4.20 and $1.70 the winner. So the winner's paid $4.20 and $1.70. Second, $2.15. No, that can't be right for Hollinger. It wouldn't be that big. We're just getting... sounds like $1.15 for Hollinger, but we'll have to check on this. Just trying to get the totes through on the Cup. They're coming through via the headphones at the moment, and we're having some problems, but I think it's $4.10. Okay, $4.20 the winner. $1.70 for the place. $1.15 Hollinger. And third has paid $4.35. So it's $4.20 and $1.70, $1.15, $4.35 after the Warrnambool Cup. We're about to get the correct weight signal, or otherwise 12, 2 and 14. The winner won by 5 lengths. So a most comprehensive victory by a most promising stayer. The next one, of course, the highlight of the carnival, the Warrnambool Textiles Grand Annual Steeplechase, the 109th running. There they are, 12, 2, 14, 4.20 and 1.70, 1.15 and 4.35. Quinella and Trifecta along shortly. Still no sign of correct weight, but it shouldn't be long. George Hanlon, of course, has trained 3 Melbourne Cup winners. Piping Lane R1 and more recently Black Knight. And he's somewhat of the Cup's king. 1790 the Quinella. 916.10 the trifecta. So now the double is 75.50. That's the double there. That, of course, was the running double. Now, correct weight after the Warrnambool Cup. Weight is right. Mintmaster winning. Back with the presentation and interviews after this break. In fact, we'll go to Rob right now.
Well, back at Warrnambool, you can see the winner of the 1986 Dulux Warrnambool Cup, and of course a nice striking grey horse there, and Mintmaster, and we'll be back shortly. As I said before, Phil, the tradition still continues.
Yes, and it's one we're looking forward to, and the big one to start, that's the Grand Annual at 3:15.
Okay, be back with you shortly.
Righto, we're back here at Warrnambool. We have a replay coming up in a moment of the last 100 metres, just checking off the totes for you in that last event. The winner paid $4.20 and $1.70 for the place. Second, $1.15, and third was $4.35. And now let's have a replay of the last 100 metres of the big event down here, the Dulux Warrnambool Cup, run over the distance of 2,200 metres and duly won by number 12 in the book, Mintmaster, trained by George Hanlon.
Just trying to thread his way through, and Beatrice Levette starting to wind up. Astralin coming with a run from last. Game Treats in front of it, and then Arctic Vision and Manship. They're getting towards the turn at the 500. Educate just led Top Banner. Mintmaster straight up 3 deep, 2 lengths away behind them. Then is Hollinger. Next the inside Salsify. Beatrice Levette and Astralin out deep into the straight. Mintmaster led about a half length. Top Banner. Hollinger coming with a run from Beatrice Levette and Jonah Reed. Mintmaster's kicked right away at the 200. He's got it one. He raced out 3 or 4 in front of Hollinger, Beatrice Levette and Jonah Reed. And Mintmaster's going to walk in a big trial for the Adelaide Cup. He's going to win by 5 lengths. Hollinger may be second, yes, just in front of Jonah Reed. Then Beatrice Levette, Salsify. Further back, Game Trees, Astralin. Behind those horses would have been Educate, Top Banner, Yarra Gambler, Arctic Vision, Lalos. One of the last to finish, Manship, back with a Game Trooper and Gavel.
And there it was, a 5 lengths win by the George Hanlon trained Mintmaster. Just mentioning again that the track here at Warrnambool is officially dead. There have been light showers down here for most of the morning, but by the same token, it's not all that heavy out on the track. A big crowd here at Warrnambool today, and we'll be back right after this break. Well, a great atmosphere building up down here at Warrnambool for the big race of the day. Time to start at 3:15. That's the Warrnambool Textiles Grand Annual Steeplechase. But the other big race on the program has been run and won. And I'm referring to the Dulux Warrnambool Cup. And for that presentation, we take you out now to Rob Gaylard.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Warrnambool, where the tradition continues. And very, very shortly, we'll have one of the other great highlights of this Warrnambool May Carnival, of course, the Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeplechase. Of course, an exciting Warrnambool Cup run once again. To make the presentations for the 1986 Dulux Warrnambool Cup, the president of the Warrnambool Turf Club, Mr. Ali Calvert.
Thank you, Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our committee, we'd like to apologise for these inclement showers we seem to be having. However, the weather's a little better than it was last weekend, when on Friday, during a very disastrous storm, one of the members of the local stewards panel, Tony Shanahan, was badly injured in a most unfortunate accident. We would like to wish Tony all the best and hope that he has a speedy recovery. To our members and our visitors and our punters, of course, thank you for your support. To the owners and trainers, thank you very much. Without horses, we can't run a meeting. to the press, the radio stations, thank you very much for your coverages. To the television stations, Channel 6, who are with us all the year, and to Channel 10, who have given us the opportunity to display our two most important races into the metropolitan area, and to the other channels who take our telecast both into South Australia and southern New South Wales. We thank our sponsors. Without sponsorship, we'd find it very hard to offer the prize money that we do. To our ranger and his staff, it's our ranger's first year this year, and we congratulate them on the way they produced the track, the surrounds, the gardens and everything. And lastly, to our secretary, Ian Middleton, and his offsider, Edna Hose. How could we do without him? I don't think there'd be a Warrnambool if we didn't have him. Now, I'd like to introduce Mr. Stuart Lawson of Dulux, Australia, to make the presentations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, as was said at the beginning of this presentation, the tradition continues, and we're very, very proud and pleased to be part of that tradition. It was a wonderful race and a great result. We'd like to now present to the owner, Mr. Peter James, the spoils of today's race.
Chairman, Committee of the Warrnambool Racing Club, Mr. Lawson. This is my first time to Warrnambool, and I suppose it'll be very hard to equal this day. I've heard how great the Warrnambool Carnival is from all my friends, and I must say I'm looking forward to viewing the next race, which I believe is a wonderful spectacle. I'd like to thank my trainer, George Hanlon, for the way he prepared this horse today. It was really fantastic. We sent it to George about 3 months ago, and he was looking skin and bone. And today, he's turned him out in magnificent fashion. Thank you, George. To Philip, I'd like to thank him for a great ride, and hope that all his rides on this horse are as easy as this one today. Thank you very much.
And now for the trainer of the winning horse, a tradition certainly, Mr. George Hanlon.
Mr. Calvert and the members and the committee of the Warrnambool Racing Club, it's a thanks to Dulux presenting this lovely prize, making it possible for us, and I must thank you for the lovely track, and the owners for giving me the horse to train. Thank you.
And finally, the man who brought the horse home, the jockey today, Mr. Philip Alderman. A great race, Philip.
Firstly, I'd like to thank the Warrnambool Racing Club and Dulux for putting on this race and making it possible for us. I'd like to thank the owners and Mr. Hanlon for entrusting the faith in me in such a race. Thank you.
Well, that completes the presentation down here at Warrnambool today. The drizzle has stopped and it seems to be finding up a little, and we do hope that this weather continues right through until at least after the Warrnambool Grand Annual, which will be the 109th running of the Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeplechase.
Well, good afternoon and welcome back to Warrnambool. Let's cross down, and Brian Blackmore now has the winning jockey of the 1986 Warrnambool Dulux Cup.
With me now, Philip Alderman, the winning jockey, the rider of Mint Master, and an easier win you'd never get, Philip.
No, Brian, he was quite impressive actually, the horse. I was more than happy.
Well, he's a former Sydney sider. He's got the George Hanlon polish on him, 2200. Has George given any indication what's going to happen from here on?
Well, I think he might have the Adelaide Cup in mind, but I couldn't be 100% sure. Mr. Hanlon just told me about the horse today and never really went on to tell me any more about him.
Well, if he runs in the Adelaide Cup, would you like to ride him?
Oh, my word.
Well, I hope you do, and I hope he goes over there, and I hope he wins. Congratulations, and many more winners, Philip.
Thanks very much, Brian.
Philip Alderman, rider of Mintmaster.
Well, thank you very much, Brian, and congratulations to Philip and also George Hanlon. A great win in the 1986 Dulux Warrnambool Cup. Well, the Warrnambool Grand Annual Steeplechase, one of the highlights of the program this afternoon. And Brian Blackmore, welcome back once again.
Thank you, Rob.
Of course, we've done a little bit of homework over the last couple of days for viewers who perhaps haven't had the chance to have a look at the course of Warrnambool. Here you are, you see it on your screen at home. And of course, the Warrnambool Grand Annual, 33 fences, one more than the famous Aintree Steeplechase. And there we see the actual start. Perhaps we might go through.
Yes, down in your bottom right-hand corner is where the race starts, just in front of the first of those fences. That's the start of the race as they run up the lane in a clockwise direction to run the first of three. And then they start to turn out off the actual course proper, and their next jumps after the three are the first, the Alfred Road Double, which you see on your screen now. First of two over a bitumen road, and when you're viewing the race, you'll be able to see the mammoth crowd that gets out in the free area there in their cars, and the surrounds around this Warrnambool track are absolutely magnificent. The Alfred Road Double as they head into Briley Paddock and climb this steep hill. They've got three fences in Briley, and it's a grueling run uphill, particularly the second time around. And we'll have on camera for you in a moment a shot of them as they approach the top of the hill, and that double there is the double on top of Cox's Hill, the Cox's Hill double, which they do a right-hand turn and run into Granters Paddock, which is a downhill run. They have one fence in Granters as they approach the Tozer Road double, which is right in the middle of your screen there as they come down the hill, and there it is. That's the Tozer Road double, and they immediately do a left-hand turn. The second time around they'll go right-hand, but there they go left, and their next one is the well-known infamous Man Trap, which used to be a log jump, one of the ones that used to trick them in the old days when they used to go the clockwise direction for the entire trip. That's the Tozer Road double you see, and then they wheel back onto the course proper and come around to whence they started. And once again, they come to the judge, and they've got another circuit of this grueling track to go.
Well, of course, Brian, taking them up the hill once again in that particular race, of course, horses then are allowed to actually lob along because if a rider starts to bustle his horses up as we see them coming down. Let's have a look at this one here.
Coming down, yes, coming down through Granters Paddock onto the Tozer Road double, and this is the way they'll go on the last occasion, going making a right-hand turn, which brings them down to the last three jumps. Now, here's another shot, a head-on shot of the Tozer Road double as they wheel around to the right, and then that's the last 800 metres of the race. And those last two jumps in Tozer the second time around are probably the jumps that tell the story. They're the difference between winning and losing. There's going to be so much ground saved over those two fences.
Well, we were talking with David Londrigan a little bit earlier on, who's back at Warrnambool, and David, of course, a winner of this race 4 times, and
record, yes,
knows exactly what it takes. Let's have a look at tote updates for the Grand Annual Steeple, and let's have a look at the top.